Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy D1 bringing you yet another YouTube video at this time. So basically I'm going to be giving you guys a deck profile for today. I'm going to be doing Atlanteans for today. So it's going to be the post-eternity code build, of course, before the new deep sea support and all that good stuff. So yeah, haven't done an Atlantean deck in a good minute, so it's kind of reminiscent of my very first YouTube video where I profiled an Atlantean deck. So basically the channel is pretty much coming full circle at this particular moment. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the profile. So of course, as always, we're going to start off with the monsters. Alright, so first we have for the profile 2 Atlantean Dragon Poseidon. So of course you guys know if I'm going to run an Atlantean deck, I gotta add me in some Poseidons, of course. You know, most notable, they don't run Poseidons in Atlantean decks nowadays, but you know, as a player preference of mine, of course you're going to run some Poseidons. I honestly do love the card. So basically getting into what it does, it special summons itself from the hand to graveyard by attributing 3 level 3 or lower sea serpent monsters from your field. And when you do that, you can activate its effect to have a giant Trunade-like effect. And when you bounce back 3 or more spell and traps, you can power down your opponent's monsters by 300 for each card sent back. So yeah, it's not a difficult card to set up. Can be a brick in hand, of course, but you know. Basically, heavy infantry and diva set up your combo. So it's a heavy infantry diva into Prince. Prince sends a Poseidon from deck to graveyard, and then adds a Poseidon from deck to hand. You can tribute the 3 from the hand with Poseidon's effect to special summon it, and through Prince's effect, you can get the second Poseidon from your graveyard to the field as well. So, not a difficult thing to set up, but it's not all that popular. So, yeah, that's that. Next we have 3 Dragoons, of course. Searcher for the deck, of course. That's all you need to know. Basically, when it's sent to the graveyard by a water monster effect, you can add a sea serpent monster from your deck to your hand. Then we have, of course, the mighty but infamous Prince. Basically, as I mentioned in the Diva combo, you can send a Atlantean monster from your deck to your graveyard to add 1 Atlantean card from your deck to your hand. So you can send any of the other Atlanteans to trigger their effects. You can also add all of the Atlanteans to your hand through that. This is the effect, of course. And its effect when it's sent to a water monster effect is you get to special summon an Atlantean monster from your graveyard. Triple heavy infantry. So when this is discarded from a water monster effect, you can pop a face-up card your opponent controls, and this has the added effect on the field that gives you an extra summon of a level 4 or lower sea serpent type monster. Two Marksman. Basically, when this card is sent by a water monster effect, you can pop a face-down card, and when this card inflicts battle damage, you can special summon a level 4 lower Atlantean from your deck. So, yeah. This definitely has some implications with Megalo to set up your OTKs and stuff. Alright, that is it for all the Atlanteans. We're going to go into Mermails. So we have 2 of this Megalos. Basically, Megalo requires 2 waters to special summon itself. And when it's special summoned, you can add 1 Mermail spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Also, its on-field effect is you can tribute 1 face-up attack position water monster to have this card attack twice during the battlefield. So this card is definitely the crux of a lot of your OTK plays. Two Abyss Tails. This one requires 1 water monster to special summon. And when it's special summoned, you can add 1 Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. And that's it. So basically you can tribute off any of the Atlanteans, of course, since they're sent by water monster effect. Especially when you're sending Dragoons off, you can send Dragoons with this, get a search off the Dragoons, and get a search off the Tails as well. So it sets up for, you know, a lot of combo plays from there. 2 Mermail Pike. So this one discards a water monster to add 1 level 3 water monster from your deck to your hand. So of course combo this with Dragoons for a double search, of course. And also it's a level 4, so this and Dragoons can get you a bomb, a shark, and treat soul, and stuff like that. Alright, so that is it for the Mermail. So Deep Seas. Of course, no Deep Sea is complete without Deep Sea Diva, of course. So this one special summons a level 3 or lower water sea serpent monster from your deck. So obviously it can include remove copies itself or the other deep sea support that I'll be bringing up in a second. Now we have 2 minstrels. Now when this card is special summoned, you can mill the top 3 cards from your deck to target a level 4 lower water sea serpent monster and add it to the top or the bottom of the deck. So in that order, which obviously gives you an added resource to use for further plays, like if you want to summon something off the deck with Diva's effect, stuff like that, or search it out with Deep Sea Aria. So this card is really good. Also, its hand effect is you can discard this and another water monster to look at your opponent's hand and select a card among them and banish it until the end phase of the turn. So this would be good to get hand traps out of your opponent's hand or any undesired card you don't want in your opponent's hand to use against you as you make your plays. Two Deep Sea Sentries. Now, when this card is special summoned, you can send the top 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard to target a level 4 or lower water monster and add it to your hand. And its hand effect is when it's sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, you can take a card from your opponent's hand and banish it until the end phase. Unlike Minstrel, you can't look at it, but you can still get a card out of your opponent's hand. 1 Deep Sea Artisan. So when this one is special summoned, you can send a top card from your deck to the graveyard to target a level 4 lower water monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And when this card is added from the deck or graveyard to the hand by a water monster's effect, you can look at your opponent's hand. So you just take a peek. You don't take anything out of it, but you can take a peek. Alright, that is it for the Deep Sea support. So we're going to do some miscellaneous support, some text. So Nemesis Umbrella. So basically you're not going to use the Nemesis part of this effect, but you can shuffle banish cards back into the deck to special summon this card. So you can banish with Aria or anything that vanishes, and then you can use this effect to special summon this card by shuffling whatever it is you banish with any other effects. So it's good. It's a good extender for your plays and to being able to do your thing from there. 2 Lapis Dragon. So when this card is added from your deck to your hand you can reveal it and special summon it. And while this card is in your graveyard, if you add it from your graveyard to your hand, you can reveal it and special summon it, but it's banished when it leaves the field. So it's another good extender for your plays, and it's also a level 5 tuner to set up your Crystron Synchro, or you can set up your Crystron Halofiber X plays as well. So this card's really good extender. Alright, we have Deep Sea Archer. Now, while this is in the graveyard and you control only water monsters, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn, and then it's banished when it leaves the field. Also another extender for your combo plays, while this is also being a level 1 tuner to set up your single plays. Last but not least, we got Moon Glacier, the Elemental Lord, of course. Special summon itself when it has 5 water monsters in the graveyard exactly, and when it special summon itself, you can send 2 cards from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, of course. So this deck is revolved around hand manipulation and stuff like that. This helps out really well with it. Alright, with all that said, that is it for the monsters. We're going to go into the spells. First we have 1 for 1. course, it allows you to special summon your prince to set up combo plays, and it could also special summon your fishbowl archer to set up plays as well. So having this, usually opening this with a pretty decent hand can end up with you in a pretty good board. So yeah. 2 salvages, shuffles, adds water monsters with 1500 attack from your graveyard to your hand, so it's good recursion for your combo plays because you do run through a lot of resources, and it's always good to be able to get your resources back to set up for more plays. We have triple deep sea Aria. Aria basically banishes a water monster to add a level 4 water monster from your deck to your hand. So it sets up the Nemesis plays, and it sets up the Deep Sea Prima Donna plays as well. So this card is really solid. So this is Surface. This one targets a level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Of course, another extender for your plays, of course. One more agreed to shuffle back bad hands and hope for good draws, because it's always a chance you can get the same cards you shuffle back into the deck. So yeah. One pot of avarice, shuffles back the 5 monsters to draw 2 cards. This is best used after a Moon Glacier play, so you can, summon your Moon Glacier, take 2 cards from your opponent's hand, activate this, shuffle back the 5 monsters you use to summon the Moon Glacier, and draw 2 cards of your own, which will leave you with a nice +2 advantage off that play. Last but not least, we have Call of the Atlanteans. Now I call this my win button play, because every time you resolve this effect, there's no reason why you can't win, unless you're dealing with a crazy board that you can't get over. But what it does is it special summons 3 level 3 or lower sea serpent type monsters from your graveyard, but you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. So it's important to activate this card during your opponent's end phase to special summon your monsters, and then proceed with plays on your turn. So yeah, this card is absolutely amazing. Alright, so that is it for the deck itself. So we're going to go into the extra deck. Alright, so first we have, for the links, we have Marincess Great Bubble Reef. Now this is a link 4 with 2600 attack. Its effect is, during each standby phase, you can banish a water monster to draw a card. And when for each monster banished by this effect, you can gain 600 attack for each until the end of the turn. During the end phase of the turn, you can send 1 water monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon one of your banished Marincess cards. Now, unfortunately for this, we won't be using the second part of the effect because we are not running a Marincess build. But for the first part of the effect, is really solid, being able to, banish your waters to draw, which will, set up for the Nemesis Umbrella plays and the Prima Donna plays, of course. So, and also being able to draw through your deck to get into much needed combo pieces and stuff. So, yeah, really good. Next we have Mermail Abyssalacia, and this card has a few effects. It's been a while since I actually looked at this card. Alright, firstly, it requires 2 fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monsters to summon. Let's read this. Sea serpent monsters. This card is point 2, gain 500 attack. Monsters, this card points 2, gains 500 attack and defense. You can only use the following effects of Alacia once per turn. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to add 1 Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. Second effect reads, if this card is in your opponent's possession is destroyed by opponent's card, attack, or card effect, you can send 1 water monster from your deck to the graveyard, target 1 water monster in your graveyard, and special summon it. So, it triggers off the Atlantean's effects off the second effect, so since it's being sent for a water monster's effect, and then you will get a water monster from your graveyard to special summon. And its first effect sends a card from your hand to the graveyard, which also triggers Atlantean's effects to add a Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. So you can either add Tails, Pike, or Megalo to set up for future play. So this card has some pretty decent implications in the deck. Alright, last we have for the links, my Star Boy. So this card has your water monsters, all water monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense, and when it's destroyed by battle or card effect and since it's graveyard, you can add one water monster from your graveyard to your hand. That includes itself, of course, if you want to reuse it again for further purposes. Otherwise, you would use like a Devo or Megalo or something like that to set up for combo plays on your next turn. Alright, that is it for the links. What I wanted to do was, I'm still waiting for my Coral Anemone to come in the mail. So, when that comes in, I'll just make the necessary changes to the extra deck. So, alright, so we're going into the Xyz. Of course, one Dweller. Of course, this works excellently in a water deck, of course, which will gain the 500 attack, and of course, detaching material to stop graveyard effects from activating for the turn. So, really solid card. Of course, Bahamut and Trito package, of course. You guys already know, pretty self-explanatory. And last for the Xyz, the Mermail Abyss Gaius for the rank 7 players, of course. Being able to detach material to negate all monster effects that has weaker attack than itself, of course, and it's really solid as well. Alright, so that's it for the Xyz. Going into the Synchros. One Tatanekro. Tatanekro is a level 3 Synchro Tuner with 1700 attack. This Synchro Summon card, this card is Synchro Summon, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to, further Synchro Summon, using cards in your hand and this card on the field for Synchro Summoning play. So this is what I mean from the Diva combo. So you can Diva into Neptune Abyss, summon this, Synchro from your hand for Synchro Climbing play. So you guys already know how this works. Really solid. Next we have Coral Dragon, basically Tatanekro's adult form. Another Synchro Tuner with 2400 attack. You can discard a card to pop a card your opponent controls, so obviously it chains well with the Atlantean effects, of course. And when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can draw one card. So really solid card. Alright, so next we have Brionic, of course. So this discards from your hand to send cards from your opponent's field back to the hand. Before it's been errated, of course, you can send cards on the field back to the hand, but Polar Haunted and Premature Perio shenanigans, warranted the errata. So yeah, also since the water monster triggers the Atlantean's effects and all that good stuff. Alright, next we have level 7 Prima Donna. Now this one has a couple of effects. So basically the Synchro Summon, when you Synchro Summon this card and you further Synchro Summon, that the monster that Synchro Summon using this card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Also it can, if your opponent has a banished card, you can target it and then either special summon level 4 low water monster from your deck, or add one level 4 lower monster from your deck to your hand, and then the opponent gets that card back to the hand. And when you use this as single material, you can shuffle one banished card back into the deck, so it can be yours or it can be your opponent's banished card. So it's gonna have some fun implications when your opponent has banished cards and you don't want to get them back. Want them to get it back, so you can just shuffle it back to the deck and they'll never get it back. One Gungadoo. So it's level 7, 2500 attack. You can discard 2 cards to pop 2 cards. So of course you can discard like a heavy infantry and a marksman to pop 2 off the Gungadoo, and then you can use a heavy infantry and marksman to pop another 2 cards. So it has has that real synergy there. You can dump dragoons and stuff to get pops and searches and stuff. So it's real good for generating advantage. Next we have White Aura Whale. Now it's a level 8 with 2800 attack. When this card is synchro summoned, you can activate this effect to destroy all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls. And this card can make up to 2 attacks. Well, when this card attacks a defense position monster, it took piercing damage, and this card can make 2 attacks on monsters during the battle phase. So it could essentially clear the field of both attack and defense position monsters at any given time. So, also when this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish a water monster and special summon this card back, and it becomes a tuner when you do that. So this also feeds into the, Nemesis and Prima Donna plays. Next we have the Animantipatia Dragite, the level 8 dragon synchro. Now basically you're not going to use the Animantipator part of the effect, but that part says that when you can excavate the top 5 and any rock monsters revealed among them, you can basically put cards your opponent's controls back to the hand, and if you have a water monster in your graveyard, you can when the spell trap is activated, you can negate that activation, and if you do, destroy it, of course. So having that piece of negation on the field definitely helps out when you're trying to push for a game. Next we have the Krishron Synchro. Now I'm not even going to try to say his name, it's going to be butchered. So basically it requires 2 tuners and 1 non-tuner. So basically the synchro material is used for the summon of this card. You can target monsters your opponent controls or in a graveyard and banish them. And when this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can take one of your opponent's banished monsters and special summon it. So this card has really decent implications. You can summon it through Lapis Dragon, Diva, and Heavy Infantry. So that's 5, 7, and 9. So you can go ahead and use those 3 cards, summon this, take 3 cards from your opponent's field or graveyard and banish them from there. So this card has some implications. So lastly we have Crippled Dragon. That's all I'm going to say. Ravenous Crippled Dragon. That's most of them you get. I cannot pronounce the last name. I'm not even going to try. So when you synchro summon this card, the number of non-tuners used to synchro summon it, you could draw cards off the number of non-tuners used to synchro summon this card. Also, you can discard 2 cards to pop 1 card on your opponent's field. So as always, triggering off Atlantean's effects. Also, this card gains 500 attack for each card in your hand. So you can manipulate your hand for any type of situation you want. Whatever amount of attack power you want depends on the cards in hand, of course. Discarding 2 takes 1,000 from its attack power. You know how that works. So being able to draw is probably the most important part of the effect. So that's that. Alright guys, with that being said, I've said a mouthful. That is it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think, of course, and I'll always be in the comments to talk to you guys about that. So I will leave that at that. So I'll be bringing you guys more videos in the meantime. But until then, peace. YouTube.